All right, here we are. Just a couple minutes until we begin. USCF rated an online rating for Blitz, but it makes it feel a little bit more than just casual online chess. You know, there's at least a number at stake that isn't only virtual. So let me know if there's any problems with the sound or what you can see. We have just about 2 minutes to fix anything before it gets going. About 20 players in, so a pretty good crowd. We're seated 6th, so we should get some good competitive games. Have a real shot at finishing pretty well. One minute. So this will be a little bit slower than the stream we had earlier today, which was the Arena Kings Bullet. This is 5-0. No increment, no delay, but plenty of time to make some moves and think a little bit during the game. Less than 1 minute to go. And here we are off. Got Luke, I guess what it says. And we're going to go with a Sicilian today. So while it is a little bit slower, we still have to keep it moving, because 5 minutes disappears pretty fast. Played a lot of Frenches earlier today. Mix it up a little bit. It's a nice square for my knight. Very hard to dislodge it from there. But maybe we want to keep coming forward. No, we'll just go to b6. We can always occupy that square later on. And let's get this bishop developed. And play d5. We're in no rush to get castled. Most of my pieces are on the queen side anyway. He plays a5. We'll go ahead and, well, I was going to say play knight c4, but Not going to do that anymore. Keep his knight out of b5 for the moment. Looks a little bit awkward for our knight. But maybe we'll move it up to b5 later on, or move this bishop and get it on the e7. Yeah, something like bishop b4 perhaps, and then knight 8 e7. I think that's a good plan. Yep, let's go ahead and proceed with that. Bishop b4. We'll trade. And our pieces are slowly untangling. Now it's time to castle. Question is knight g6 or knight f5? I think knight g6. Over to the c file with our rook. Maybe I'll even bring the other knight over. Not yet, though. Queen e7 to start. That way, if we have an exchange on the c file, I can retake with a rook. Well, this one's a pawn. He plays a rook to the b file at the end, so maybe that's not ideal. Down to just over 2 minutes. We're going to do it. We're going to go after that pawn. And then I'm thinking bishop b5 next, perhaps. Okay, he retreats. We're going to go ahead and exchange once, and then move our knight back to c6, maybe? Yeah, keep that file closed for the moment. Also eyes that a5 pawn. Down by about 30 seconds on the clock, so I have to keep it moving. Knight's guarding the rook, so no bishop takes a6 ideas yet. Bring this knight back. Well, now bishop a6 ideas. Alright, so we won a pawn, and then we gave the pawn right back. I mean, I need to play h6 so my back rank isn't weak. Down to minute 30 on the clock, so we're going to have to start moving faster. Although the time is evening up here. Okay, his knight went backwards. Ooh, the queen can just take. No, that drops the rook. I knew there was a discovery there. There are a lot of discoveries going on. So that's an exchange. Maybe not the cleanest exchange, but an exchange. Do I give it right back? I don't think so. Let's go check. Not that worried about the B pawn. Maybe I should be, but my rook is eyeing up A8, and I can get my queen over to A1 check to help deal with it. This, and check. And back here. This might just be a draw. Or I might be in trouble. Yeah, that A pawn did end up being dangerous. Check there. Oh, it's just giving me one of the queens. Okay. Well, that's nice of him. Should have just taken that queen. Oh, and I ran out of time. Time scramble at the end. Wow. Oh, and the next game started already, so I guess we were the last one. Okay, Just Advice is up next. Playing the Petrov of Russian defense. Okay, we'll play something a little symmetrical for the moment. I wonder if I can take on E5 there or not. I'm not going to now. D3 next. Maybe bishop E3. See if we can open the F file. Okay, we'll take the bishop pair. Guess we'll take that bishop too for the moment. Play c3, keep a knight out of d4. See if my knight can infiltrate on some of these light squares. Maybe my queen will come over to the king's side. The e5 pawn is going to be weak, which is why I didn't want to take on d4. If I can leave that e pawn there, I likely can pick it up later on. Right now. Takes on c3. If I want to keep the d3 pawn, I can take back with the queen. Like so. Lots of weak light squares for him. Okay. Bring the queen in a little closer. Throw in a check. Not sure we'll be able to hold this d3 pawn very well. Just threatening to take that knight. Mm-hmm. Let's get a rook lift here. Maybe play bishop takes h6 soon. Like right now, I think, is a good time for it. Let's keep going. No reason to stop now. And that is checkmate. All right, 1 out of 2. Still a few games going on. This is our top game. So I'm going to go ahead and get something to drink while we wait for the next game to start. Alright, so what's going on here? It's trying to trade queens, 4 pawns versus 4 pawns. But white has control over the 7th rank. Might not be enough, though. The white king is very safe. Now he's offering the queen trade. But if everything comes off the board, I would think black has the edge. But if the white king can come off the board quick enough, it shouldn't make a difference. Black's pawns aren't very flexible, though, anymore, without being able to play g6. Black has a minute left, which should be plenty of time. Two people have already dropped out. Someone that was 2 out of 2. Wow. Okay. Still plenty of people in. We're sitting in a huge tie for third right now. Not very significant. Just meaning that we've scored 1 point so far. Well, you can trade rooks if he wants. And that white king is very active. They're going to just go back and forth here. Yep, it's all drawn. Takes, takes, king here, king here, king here. Oh, it takes that way first. Also a draw. Okay. All right, and we should be starting round 3 momentarily. Actually, in a big tie for 9th now. See if we can step it up here. We have the white pieces against the Godfather J. All right, we'll play a Scotch this time. Let's go bishop c4. Play a little gambit. Takes the 2nd pawn. Make that knight move. Wow. You know what? Let's push the pawn again. It's a weird position. I got one of the pawns back, and his king's pretty much stuck in the center, at least for the moment. He's on my rook. Right, we go this way. Only maneuver I've got to watch out for is like bishop here and here, hitting that, yep, getting on that diagonal. It's exactly what I mean. Threatening to take the bishop. Let's play a check, try and get the bishop on an awkward square. Looking for queen e4, hitting the knight and the rook. He says enough of that. Hitting checkmate and the knight. But I guess it doesn't really matter that I take the knight, because his rook just follows up. Does that matter? His knight's not doing much, so probably not a big deal. Let's move a rook to the c file instead. His knight can't really come back into the game, so no reason to take it at this moment. Maybe we bring our bishop back to f4, then we're threatening to take the knight without losing our bishop in the process. Oh, so he's just going to take like that. Okay. Just going to go there. Do we exchange off? Doesn't look like we have a lot of choice. All right, I'm going to take once with the bishop. Yeah, we might have to. Might have to take these pieces off, which means that I'm simply down a pawn at the moment. So we're going to have to do something about that. Gotta watch the d1 square. Have to stay in contact with that d1 square at all times. Don't want to give up the checkmate. I don't think I can get out of this draw if he wants it. He's going to go after the a4 pawn. He does. He does indeed. All right, let's give my king a little room so the back rank doesn't just checkmate me. Let's pressure the a-file since he opened that opportunity. I'm not even sure he wanted that a-pawn. Now we're threatening to take on a5. Down on time. Maybe I need to move a rook to the d file next. Let's go ahead and attack the queen. Not really sure what my queen's doing. Looking for a way to be annoying. That's about it. Time's getting a little more even. Just have to continue trying to be annoying. Just pester that queen. Use up a little more of the clock. He's under 30 seconds now. I'm not sure he knows it. Now he's down to 10 seconds. Nope. Oh, there we go. One on time. All right. Almost a time scramble at the end. Yeah, once I was able to make that extra square for my king, it relieved a lot of pressure. Even though he had that extra couple pawns. All right. Oh, that's all of them. So the next game should be starting soon. Against King's Bishop. The women's candidates master is alone in first with 3 points. And we've got a big tie with people with 2 out of 3. So, big group of us. And his time is running. So I'll take the little time advantage that I can get. The number on the right is the tiebreak score. That basically just indicates how well the people that you played are doing in the tournament. So kind of is an indication of strength of schedule, would be a comparison for those of you not familiar with it. I'm not sure how long the clock runs in these games at the beginning before it's a forfeit, but we might find out here. I don't want to bring up another game because I don't want to risk missing the beginning of this one, so we will just be patient for the moment. 3 games down, 4 to go. It's a 7-round tournament. 18 players are still in. So we had a total of 21 players. Maybe once it hits the halfway point, 2.5 minutes. I'm not sure. Maybe they give them the whole 5 minutes. Right, we can close out of that game. So the top 2 players are playing. I open that in another tab. I can see the clock time up here. Okay. So these are the top 2 players. The Women's Candidates Master, who it appears might be underrated at 1,700, since she's 3-0 so far, although I don't know who she's played, but she's probably had a reasonable competition. And Kupra, the 2,000 rated player, he's the one we saw with the draw in the other round. Okay, my opponent has 2 minutes left on his clock. It's still ticking. So that's a little unfortunate that we don't get a game this round. All right, so in this position, we see that white still has their light squared bishop. Although it's a little awkwardly placed, you'd normally see it on g2, but it is strong on e2 with this pin. Well, that pin is only there because black has so much pressure. He can take on h2, but then this bishop would take something, so maybe not the best plan of action. Yeah, it develops the bishop, hits the queen. Black's pieces are pretty well coordinated. Probably doesn't have to find the killer blow yet. Material is even. My opponent has 50 more seconds. Oh, and he made his move. Okay. With 50 seconds left, he has made his move, and we are off. So we don't have to do anything crazy this game. He's playing a bullet game, and we're playing a blitz game. So we just need to not blunder everything on the board, and we should be in good shape. All right, we're going to castle. All right, I'd like to trade off some pieces, but it doesn't look like that's going to be super easy to do here. I'm going to bring my queen back to d8. Guard this diagonal a little more strongly. All right, let's move this knight in. Try and get rid of one of his bishops. Maybe he'll exchange his bishop, or maybe I'll be able to take his light squared bishop. Well, here we've got a fork, so that's nice. And then we'll probably just take that dark square bishop. Or we go right back. Yeah, let's just go right back. Alright, this time he takes it. Alright, we'll keep it closed for the moment. He's down to 25 seconds. Attack the rook, and now my bishop is going to be able to get in. Let's hit the queen first. Look for a queen trade. See if we can trade rooks. F6, just so he can't push F6 himself and be annoying. Alright, we're up a pawn. So no need to rush. We have a great position. Now that pawn is a passed pawn. Yeah, and this position is very nice. My pawns are on dark squares. I can walk my king all the way up. He doesn't have any targets. And my king is going to come up and nibble on these pawns. Alright, so I felt like it was a pretty clean game. I mean, sure, he was under a minute to begin with, so he had to move very quick, but I was not happy with how I played. 3 games left. This moves us into a tie for second place. So Cooper won that game with that attack. This is the top game currently. And black is up a piece. So he should just be winning. Now he's up the piece plus some. None of white's pawns are very dangerous here. Yeah, and the white king can't even infiltrate. Now black's going to get a passed pawn. That's going to be game over. All right, let's see if there are any other games going on still. One game just finishing up. Oh. Went for the time move, and it worked. Gave up the queen, won on time. Wow, okay. Moving on to round 5. Playing against TS Paper or T Spaper. One of those, okay. A D4 game, so we're going to play D5. And looks like he's going to have a London system. We're just going to play knight F6. Let's play an early C5. No reason to support the D5 pawn because white's not playing C4. So we can get a pretty nice classical development with C5 in early and no real problems. Often the question is what we do with this bishop, because queen B3 can happen in some positions. So I'm probably going to end up putting the bishop on b7 later on. I want to get castled first. So he's got a collie set up with this triangle of pawns here on the white side. Very solid. Obviously going for a kingside attack, but nothing we shouldn't be able to handle. My play is going to be on the queen side. Alright, so I'm going to just develop to d7. Look to see if he wants to exchange his knight off. Doesn't look like he does. We'll exchange once in the center here. Let's put a rook on the c file before we do anything else. And we might launch a minority attack over here. Yep, he's reinforcing his knight on e5. Put a6. Followed by maybe b5, b4. I'm going to play bishop e8. If he pushes g5, I'm going to just kind of retreat back here to d7. Yep. And just trying to keep the whole side of the board closed. The side of the board is closed. He should not have anything too threatening. It looks like it's going to be time to exchange on e5. See, we're up to 6 viewers. Welcome. I hope you guys are enjoying the game. Came right after we got a forfeit win, basically. So, good timing. Okay. And now I'm going to play g6 because it's very hard for him to get in on these dark squares. This bishop on e8 is actually doing a good job preventing sacrifices on these squares. And now let's get rid of some of these pieces. He takes with the knight. I have knight takes d4 if I want. Do I want it though? Yeah, I think I do. So this is a common tactic where the queen ends up on c2 or in some cases on c7 for black, and one of the knights just kind of hops in, impervious because of the c-file rook. One of the disadvantages of castling queenside is that you don't get a rook on the c-file, or if you do, it's much later. Okay. So the knight is actually still safe because the pin extends over to the king. So perhaps it's time for me to go ahead on the offensive with something like queen a5. Queen a5 is just going to entice him to play king b1, get out of the pin, so it's the move he has to play anyway. Thinking maybe bishop d6, but I kind of like it protecting f6. It's not an easy choice here. I could bring it back to f5, keep that part of the board closed. I kind of like that, but the d pawn could then become weak. I also have the move bishop all the way over to a4, hitting his rook. That looks interesting. Or I could just come back to c6, which is what I'm going to do. just going to come back to c6 and look to trade. I might even get to play the knight to b4 with the same kind of idea soon. Not sure what that rook is doing. All right, I think it's time for me to go on the attack. Hit the bishop. If the bishop goes back to b1, I can play the move d4. And his king does not have very much shelter over there. We're a little down on time. Okay, definitely get rid of the light square bishop. Attack the queen. Without the light square bishop, I don't think we have to be too worried about sacrifices. Okay. Queen b6. What is going on here? Is the king in trouble or not? That is always the question. So he's trying to get in on h7 is the idea. Maybe my queen didn't belong on b6. I have 20 seconds left though, so I better decide fast. Let's throw in this check. The knight can take, but it gives me another move to figure out how to stop all these shenanigans. Okay. I think I ran myself too low on time trying to figure this out. Too low on time here. Yeah, and that's checkmate. All right, that was a good game. So if we back it up a little bit, where are my moves? Here we go. So right before the queen came to the H file. So yeah, queen b6 must be the mistake then. Because here I should still be okay. Maybe something like f6. That way I can play something onto the 7th rank. That's probably the best way to do it. All right, on to the next round. This is now round 6. No one is undefeated. And we're now up against Women's Candidate Master, Canary 2016, who after a blistering start has fallen 2 games in a row. Caro-Kann advance. And just kingside castle, and then decide what to do with this knight. Rook e1 seems appropriate. I don't mind an exchange on d4. And after pushing, I can just retreat the queen. So I don't think I have any problems in this position yet. I can pretty easily challenge for the c-file. Yeah, I think that rook had to come over here anyway, so that's fine by me. Hit the bishop, hit the pawn. I like my position right now. Black didn't get an amazing break in the center, and so there's really not much pressure on my center pawns. Okay, let's steal a pawn. Just kind of back my queen out of there. Let's see where that queen wants to go. It's tied to the knight right now, so it has to be careful. Yeah, maybe there's nothing here yet. Well, this knight can't move, so no way to get my bishop in there. All right, let's bring the bishop back. Bring the queen back. I'd be fine if he wants to take that bishop. Yeah, I figured he would take the knight. But this position should be good also. Take with the knight. Queen, rook, pawn. And my rook is going to be much more active. And I'm up a pawn. So let's go ahead and get on to the 7th rank to start. Let's go get a second pawn. And then I should probably bring my king up some. Back to the 7th rank if he wants to walk his king up. We're going to get another pawn. Or if she wants to, I guess. All right, let's walk up a little bit. Yeah, bringing the rook over here is pretty dangerous because it gets awfully hard to stop the a-pawn. Let's do it like this. And then push the a-pawn. Mm. Maybe we were too quick. Well, this actually works. This will work because the rook's stuck in the corner. It's too passive. I think if she would have just taken the b-pawn first and then gotten behind, it would have been much more challenging for me. But we're going to push this b-pawn all the way down. Can't take the a-pawn because I actually queen with check. And so I pick up the rook also. Check. Checkmate. Good game. All right, took down a titled player, kind of. That's round 6 of 7. Only one game left. We're 4 out of 6, so we're doing pretty well right now. What's going on in this game? White, oh, the black king's all the way down the board, and material is black's up in exchange, but the black king is running all over the board. And white, I would think, should just be winning. At least winning the queen with rook d1, if nothing else. Don't get checkmated by rook d1, though. Okay, the king can get out. And we're on time. Okay, one round to go. Black pieces against Symphonist. And first, second, and third all have 4.5, so this is an important game. Well, we're going to do the Sicilian again, even though it hasn't been doing great. We won the earlier game when the guy had 50 seconds, but we lost that first round game with it, unfortunately. Been facing this a lot recently. Early f4 against the e6 Sicilian. Looks like I have to add it to my study plan. Alright, the fianchetto systems, though, don't worry me. Don't worry me at all. They give me all the time in the world to proceed with my own plans, which is what we're going to do here. Let's go bishop e7 to start. Now, king h1 is a common move in these types of positions, so the bishop can come back. What if I just attack that pawn? What are you going to do about it? I can still go either way, castling. Brings the king up. See, these types of positions make me think there's no reason to kingside castle yet. I'll bring my knight back for the moment, just so there are no discoveries on this diagonal. Okay. Capture, capture. Well, I'm up a pawn, but I need to make sure that my king stays safe here. I think it's a pretty healthy pawn. We're going to go queenside. I think this mass of pawns will help protect me. I should be safe on these squares over here. I'm not worried about this queen check. I probably want to play the king over at some point anyway. Oh, knight takes there. Alright, well, what if I just take the bishop first? Throws in the pawn check. My king's more exposed, but I'm up more material. And now to take the knight has to give me another pawn with check. And I can block this check. Knight back. So that was definitely a mistake by him. We're now up a piece. But still not easy. Let's get my king moving a little bit. Off the open file, off the diagonal with the queen. We're down a little bit of time. Definitely worth the position in this case, though. Do I have to worry about taking this pawn? I think I should just be able to move the knight. Like this. I want to play h4 and gang up on this g3 square. I don't mind giving up another pawn over here because I can just take the g file also. Alright, let's start with this. Even if this just leads to trading pieces, trading queens, I'm up the piece, so I should still be happy with that. And if the queens come off, there's nothing on the dark squares to take advantage of my king, so I should be happy forever. Yeah, let's just go with it. Trade, trade, trade. Nice square for my knight. See if we can find some way to get a fork going here with both those rooks and the king exposed. Okay, says no to the fork. Let's start pushing the g-pawn up. His king is still more exposed than mine is. The only thing I want to be careful about is the fact that that pawn is pinned if my rook on h8 ever leaves back rank. But for now, I don't think it's an issue. Right? We're attacking the bishop twice. Although we're running out of pawns here. Oh, but we can do that. And now it should be a full piece. Okay. Get my king on another dark square. Oh, he has rook takes rook. I need to exchange first. Did I? No, maybe I didn't. Maybe this is mine. Rook takes, I'd be up, yeah. I'd still be up a rook at the end, so he's still going to go for it, though. He might as well. But my rook saves the day. Good game, sir. Won by resignation. Moves us up into third place, where we're likely to stay, although our tie breaks aren't great, so we might fall on tie breaks. Oh wait, did everyone else finish? No one else can catch us, so it looks like it's just going to be a third place. 5 wins and 2 losses. 2 games left. One game left. So King Bishop stayed in it for the whole tournament, even after missing almost all of our game, and his opponent still wants to play on. It'll be over soon. We didn't get to play Sunglasses or Cupra. We actually lost to 2 of the lower rated players we played today, but they played well and I ran out of time. Third place, look at that. Nice little medal for us. All right, that was fun. The ratings, USCF ratings for this will not go in for a while. They're pretty slow with it, so I know you're all going to be checking every day to see how these people's ratings change, but hold your horses. It's probably going to take a couple weeks. All right, I think that's probably good for now. That's our second tournament of the day. We played the Arena Kings earlier. So a lot of chess today. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to stream a little bit in the morning, but I need to be done by noon because, as many of you know, there's the knockout playoffs for that last speed championship spot tomorrow, and everyone's going to be tuning in to watch that. And maybe I'll show up and play in the evening some more, depending on how I feel. But tomorrow's focus, of course, is going to be watching that big tournament. So we'll get a couple hours in the morning, watch that in the middle, and see how we feel in the evening. All right, thanks to everyone that stopped by. Thank you, Eva, on the congratulations. I usually do very poorly in these tournaments, so it's nice to get a good result. And I will catch all of you next stream. Have a good night.